Hello student, today we discuss the topic about motion. We discuss firstly what is the motion. A particle move with respect to time is called to motion. Means we take a particle, position of a particle with this point. Okay. If a particle move another point, that is equal to that position of A, and its change the position is B. So what is the requirement? Sir, point change A to B, the requirement of time. Okay. So we discuss a particle move with respect to time. Because of particle move one point to another point only require the time. So it is a motion. Particle change of position with respect to time is called to motion. We have discussed three types of motion. It is the one type, one dimension motion, 1D, it is called to 1D motion. What is the meaning of one dimension? Only one direction, one dimension change with respect to time. The motion only one dimension change with respect to time. Change with respect to time. It is called to one dimension. What is the example of one dimension? The motion of ant. That is the example of one dimension. Motion of ant. Because of ant moving in linearly. Okay, so that is the only change in the one dimension with respect to time. At a time only one direction change, so it is called to example of one dimension. And one dimension motion, that is called to one dimension change with respect to time. We have discussed about two dimension, that is the second type of the motion, two dimension. Motion. What is the meaning of two dimension? Only two direction change with respect to time. Only two direction change with respect to time. You have only two dimension change with respect to time. Only two dimension change with respect to time. Sir, what is the example of 2D? That is the 2D means two planes, one x and another one. The example of 2D is circular motion. What is the dimension? Because of circular motion, one is the x plane and another one is the y plane. Yeah, one is the y plane and another is the movement of x plane. So example of two dimension is the circular motion. Example of two dimension is a circular motion. Okay. Any other example? Yes. When we use carom board, okay, that is a type of carom board. Okay. I have explained. What is the left side of carom board? There is a four side of carom board. Similarly, this diagram. Okay. When a striker move at that point, when a striker move at that point, the striker connected with two planes. That is the y planes and that is the x plane. Situation is this. When striker move this point, then it's contact with the x plane as well as y plane. So it is the example of 2D and 2D geometry. Okay. We discussed the 3D. That next one is the types of motion is the 3D. So what is the meaning of 3D? It is the three dimension and three dimension change with three direction change with the particle change three dimension. Okay. So 3D, another example, that is called to three dimension. What is the 3D? Particle change three dimension with respect to time. Three dimension with respect to time. That is called to 3D motion. What is the example of 3D? That is the motion of any birds, aeroplane. So example of birds, motion of birds, motion of aeroplane. So how can it possible? Because of the shape of birds or shape of aeroplane, that is the sometimes that is the because of all are different. Their fan is this type, their front is this side and leg is this side, that is the tire is this side. So all are fun in the 3D motion. Okay, so example of motion of birds and example of motion of aeroplane is the 3D. So we have discussed motion and its types. Now we discuss the topic of distance and displacement. What is the distance and what is the displacement? Another topic of the motion, that is the distance and displacement. What is the distance and what is the meaning of distance and displacement? Distance. Distance of any object. Distance of any object, that means the actual length of particle. That means actual length of particle. Actual length of particle called to distance. Called to distance. Actual length, because of if a particle draw that point, I draw this point, okay, that is the length, that particle actual length. If does not have length, the particle does not present in universe. Okay, so actual length of a particle is called distance. Okay, it is another point. It can't be zero because of actual length does not have, so it is not present in the universe. So distance can't be zero. Next point, can't be zero. Can't be zero, so can't be negative. Next point, distance can't be negative. It is a scalar quantity or vector. It is a scalar quantity because of vector quantity can be zero. Okay, it can't be zero. That means it is a scalar. Distance is a scalar quantity. What is the measurement? Distance measure in meter, centimeter, kilometer, according to requirement. Okay, we change their measurement. Next point, dimension of distance, meter dimension, that is called to L1. Why L? Meter is used one times, so meter is one times, so the L is one times. Next point, distance is always greater equals to displacement. So distance can't be zero. Some points I have repeat. Distance can't be zero, can't be negative. It is a scalar quantity. Measure in meter, centimeter, kilometer according to requirement. Dimension of distance, that is the L1, and distance is always greater equals to displacement. Next we discuss about the displacement. What is the displacement? Similar point but some difference because of displacement is a vector quantity. So what is the definition of displacement? Displacement is, we have discussed displacement. Okay, shortest distance between 2 points. Shortest distance between 2 points, that is called to displacement. Displacement can be defined shortest distance between 2 points called displacement. What is the displacement? Shortest distance between 2 points is equal to 0. Okay, sometimes it can be 0. Okay, yes, it can be 0. So give any example. Yes, I have give. A particle start this point and it's moved to circular path, and final point same as well as initial point. Sir, what is the distance and displacement? What is the distance? So distance is the actual length. The actual length, that is their radius is equal to r. So what is the distance and displacement in these questions? So displacement is equal to initial point and final point will same. So displacement equals to that point is equal to 0. Why? Because of initial and final point have same. Okay. What is the distance? Distance actual length. Actual length is equal to, what is the actual length of radius r? That is the actual length is equal to circumference of circle. What is the circumference of circle? That is the 2 pi r. Okay. That is, it can be 0. Next point. It can be 0. Yes, it can be negative. Okay. So it can be negative. Yes. That is the example of 0. And it can be negative. Yes. How can it possible? That one, if we start that point and covered 5 meter distance in this side and move this side with 7 meter distance, that is distance A, and that point is final point B. What is the displacement and distance between A and B? Same questions. Okay, that is the same question. So distance, actual length, that is the 5 and that is the 7. So actual length is equal to 5 plus 7, that is the 12 meter. What is the displacement? Displacement is 5, that is the positive x, and there is the negative x. So this side plus 5 and this side minus 7. So finally displacement is equal to minus 2 meter. Are we clear about this? So it can be negative. Give the example according to this example. Okay, next point, it is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity. We represent with sign, so it is called to vector quantity. What is the vector quantity? Those quantity are called to vector quantity which have magnitude as well as direction. Magnet and next measure in also meter, centimeter, kilometer according to requirement. Okay. Scalar quantity, vector quantity we have discussed. Okay. Can't be 0, can't be. And displacement always less than equal to distance. What is the dimension? Similar dimension of distance. So the dimension of displacement is equal to dimension of displacement is L1. So we discussed what is the value of meaning of distance, displacement, types of motion. So this is with the example, or this is complete the